had that done before. I'm sorry. Call me irresponsible. Peggy. Peggy got two questions. Actually, she's got several. But of all the equipment you brought with you on Lealea, which proved the most useful or beneficial? And which do you wish you had left behind in Hawaii? There's a lot of stuff I wish we had left behind in Hawaii.
Well,
we brought a complete extra set of old sails from Hawaii that we didn't need.
The main and
jib.
Blown out, that big blown out jib.
Yeah, that we eventually gave away once we got to Port Townsend.
Yeah. We gave away a lot of stuff when
we
we
got to Port Townsend. We gave a lot of stuff away. Power tools. You know, I used them in Port Townsend, the power tools that I brought with me in Hawaii, but really, you know, a circular saw in a case, it took up a lot of room. It didn't weigh that much, but it took up a lot of room. And, you know, why do you need to carry that stuff around with you on a small boat? You don't. You can always rent it when you get there if you need it.
Or in our experience,
or you can buy it. They're cheap.
Have this stuff at home and they're willing to let you borrow it. So
we arrived cold in Port Townsend. Let's walk across the street and buy one, an inexpensive one at the hardware store, and then use it and for a month or whatever, and then sell it when you're done. Sell it in the boatyard to another boater coming in.
Yeah,
there's always something.
There's always some place to
There's always something. If nothing else, you can donate it to the Salvation Army and take it as a much-needed tax deduction. What we wish we had left behind: sails, power tools,
big old solar fan,
a big solar fan. A friend of mine, he was doing us a favor. A friend of mine who's a carpenter gave us this large solar fan. It was like 36 inches square,
which was perfect for Hawaii.
Perfect for Hawaii. It fit right over the forward hatch. It was a great exhaust fan, and we brought that with us for who knows why.
But we wouldn't have been able to use it for another, what, 3 years?
Yeah, we wouldn't have used that until we built our house.
It was so large we had to get rid of it.
The one thing that I'm really glad we got, and we're both glad, and Laura had to talk me into it, was the water maker. Yeah. It's a reverse osmosis desalinator.
Because that was never in the original plan.
It was never in the original plan.
And that ran us
$3,000.
Yeah, close to $3,000. But we don't regret spending a penny on that.
Not a bit.
Because that first trip, if we had
not had
just the water we had planned, we would have been hooked. So, no regrets.
We would have made it, but we had no way of knowing it was going to take that long, so it's hard to say what our water usage would have been. Yeah. Water maker, definitely on the, and it's because the boat's small, it doesn't have a big enough water tank. If it was a bigger boat, you could carry a bigger water tank. Even still, though, I think I'd want the water maker. Yeah. What other thing besides the water maker? Well,
we have our EPIRB, which I always say is the most expensive thing you'll ever buy and hang on the wall and hope you'll never use.
Well, yeah, but that's actually almost a.
It's almost mandatory.
It's almost a
quite.
One of the basic safety. That's not really a safety item. It just tells the folks back home that you sank.
Well, actually,
but I still think it's one of the safety. I still think it's one of the basics. A 406 megahertz EPIRB.
Yeah.
VHF radio. I think a VHF radio is a good safety device, and it's a good communication. It's something you really need and really should have.
A handheld.
Well, when you're close enough for help to get to you in a hurry, a VHF will reach them. If you're out of VHF range, they probably won't get to you in much of a hurry anyway. It's a big ocean out there.
Yeah.
Right behind the VHF is the AIS receiver, so we got it in a combination unit.
Standard Horizon.
Standard Horizon. I can't remember what the model 3900 or 30, whatever it was.
Something.
It's a Standard Horizon VHF with a AIS receiver
only.
AIS is Automated Identification System. It's like a transponder like they have on airplanes.
And we only just found out about those when we were entering
in 2007, so it's pretty. It's gotten common now. They asked us about it when we arrived.
And we didn't have a clue what they were talking about.
We didn't know what they were talking about. And we wouldn't have had one anyway. We still don't have a transponder. We have a receiver that receives signals from transponders
and allows us to see where
it allows us to see where bigger ships. The large ships are all required to carry these transponders. Anybody who carries passengers for hire.
Passenger vessels, yeah.
Certain classes of vessels, not yachts, not small yachts.
Not yet.
Right. But all the big stuff out there is required to have one of these transponders. So with an AIS receiver, built into the radio, you can see where they are, and it gives you all the information you need about distance, course, speed, closest point of approach.
Closest time of approach.
Time of approach, you know, and how much time you have until you run into that, or they run into you.
Yeah, it's kind of handy to have.
Yeah, it's real handy to have. It also tells you the name of the vessel, so you can call them up by name on the radio instead of saying, "Hey, that big ship is bearing down on me, please."
It's very general.
Yeah.
Because their first reaction is, well, that couldn't be me.
Yeah, AIS receiver.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, AIS receiver is a definite good idea. I don't like the idea of small boats having transponders because it would clutter up the
yeah, there was some areas
the display
where
too much. We had to turn it, even still, because of so much commercial traffic, we had to turn it off because there were so many signals coming in.
It was just, yeah.
Yeah, San Francisco Bay, there were so many signals coming in, and you know, we didn't really need it, so we had to turn it off. And also in sometimes in Puget Sound it was like that.
And I guess the next thing going along that line is roller furling and windvane, because we've had so
why
many
do we
people,
don't have them? Okay, one at a time. Okay. Roller furling. The boat didn't have it when I bought her. When I bought Lealea, she had a full suit of hanked-on sails, 3 jibs and a mainsail, and didn't see, you know, right after I bought the boat, I mean, like the day after I bought the boat, I emptied my savings to buy the boat. The next day I got fired from, not fired, but...
Were you fired or not, Chuck?
The company was in trouble, and I was a highly paid executive, and they, you know, it was the easiest way for them to make the rest of the payroll was to stop mine.
Yeah.
So they downsized, and I was in full agreement with them, but I had just emptied my savings account the day before. I was broke, so I didn't even consider buying roller furling or anything else for a long time.
And by then you had me.
No, it was much later on. That you came along years after that. That was 6 years before I even met you. No, roller furling has just never been in the budget. We have the hanked-on sails, and then we replaced the hanked-on sails,
and roller furling is really cool.
We've heard it's cool. I've sailed boats with roller furling before. It's really neat to be able to just pull on the rope, or especially like Mike's boat, just push the button. But it's really nice to just be able to, you know, dial in more sail or take in, you know, whatever you have to do to adjust the sails from the cockpit. That's really neat and all that. But we have experienced a couple of times, even on the most expensive rigs, where the roller furling jams either in or out, and then it's a lot of...
no time is a good time.
No time is a good time. It's never a good time.
It's not a good time.
It's never a good time. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with roller furling. If the boat had come with roller furling, I would have it. Probably. I don't think I would have spent the money to go the other way.
Yeah, but at this point, why spend the money?
Yeah, we're very comfortable with changing the sails. We like the flexibility of having different size sails without the extra windage on the roll, on the head stay. Boat handles better that way.
And I think the more manual everything is, the more often you're checking your gear. Because if you're always staying in the cockpit and never going forward to check your equipment, then that's how things
You might not
happen.
notice the clevis pin coming out of the gooseneck on the boom because you never walk past it. You're not walking past it and holding onto the mast as you walk by to go do a head sail change or something. Oh, hey.
I mean, I can think of at least a handful of instances where, you know, a cotter pin came out, or that, you know, the pin on the boom started coming out. If we hadn't been going forward and checking that, it would have been something bad. So it's just...
Yep. So that's why we...
Yeah,
that's why we don't have... That's why we stick with hanked-on head sails. And you know, there's a certain amount of traditionalist in me. Certainly, I like the old-fashioned way of doing things, especially on a small boat. You know, you don't need all that.
And that's just it. We're small enough that raising the sails aren't an issue. It's not too heavy.
Don't need winches to haul the sails up. Use a tack down haul to harden the luff on the jib. So you know, we don't need to crank it with a winch to get it up. The mainsail is light enough that can be hauled up and just tightened with the winch. So
so there's nothing hard about it.
Yeah. So anyway, not strong enough reasons for us to switch. and a couple of good reasons for us to stay the same as we are.
I heartily agree.
Okay, shall we talk about the
Windvane.
plumber's nightmare, I was going to say. And I thought, windvane. When we took off from Hawaii, the boat didn't have a windvane when I got it. I never bothered to put one on. I've always been kind of against putting all those pipes on the back. And you know, it seems like it's heavy. I know it's not really all that heavy, but it is weight added far aft on the boat, and just vaguely don't like it. You know, but anyway, I didn't have one when we took off from Hawaii, and the price of getting one in Hawaii was very high,
prohibitively expensive.
Not as much as a water maker, but pretty high.
It was
and so. I read that the boat could be sailed with sheet to tiller steering. I decided I would try that, and just for backup, we bought a tiller pilot, ST2000 plus tiller pilot,
which died on the
third day of what turned out to be a 55-day passage. So we had plenty of time to experiment with sheet to tiller steering. We came up with a system that works, and it works well enough so that in combination with an electronic tiller pilot, we don't need it. We don't need a wind vane. So
you days of experimenting with that, days and days, hours at a time, just sitting babysitting it, and most people just wouldn't have.
You just have to develop the touch. But we had nothing else to do. It was either experiment with that or hand steer. And I mean, if you're going to hand steer, you might as well experiment with learning how to self steer. So played with it, played with the different ways of making it work over and over and over again, and over time.
And I think that's a benefit too, because we know the boat better now than we would have if...
Certainly better at sailing, because you have to get the sails balanced just right in order to make the boat steer herself. And what that wind vane does, it compensates a bit for that. You know, I mean, you still have to trim your sails properly. The wind vane doesn't do everything for you. It certainly does a better job of holding a course than just usually tying a piece of surgical tubing to a cleat like I do.
That'll go off by 5 or 10 degrees.
Sure, 10 degrees one way or the other, and it's fine. It's great for out in the open ocean. Yeah. Wouldn't use it close along the coast. But
well, the tiller pilot is exact, and when you're more concerned about
wind vane. Wind vane's not exact, but it's close, a lot closer than
the tiller pilot is.
Yeah, the tiller pilot, if you need precise course keeping, the tiller pilot's the way to go.
And I think that's another thing, is that people are looking for that precise, you know, holding a precise course, and it's sailing.
Well, it's electronic autopilots. Electronic autopilots versus wind vanes. You know, and cruisers use wind vanes mostly because they don't use a lot of electricity. We found that we could use the tiller pilot without running down our batteries as long as there was sunlight, because our solar panels kept up, and we just have small little solar panels.
Yeah, and the tiller pilot would run all night with their running lights.
Yeah.
And we never had any problems as long as we had full sun. It started getting a little bit more challenging as we headed further north, but that's that's the way it goes.
So anyway, the reason we don't have a wind vane specifically is because we don't think we need one. We saved quite a bit of money by not buying buying a new one in the first place, although we did spend money on tiller pilots. Yeah. That's another story altogether. But they do work, and they work quite well, especially motoring. We used a tiller pilot motoring all over the place. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
There you go.